To the senior center meeting room. So essentially, we have to discuss the costs associated with this because nothing was ever implemented last year. Well, it was, but I shouldn't say implemented, but we didn't, nothing I believe was ever collected, right, Mary Ellen?
No, nothing was ever collected.
Okay. And it currently stands at 50 or 75?
I believe it was 50.
I'd have to look back and see what it was.
I
Okay.
kind of remember that 50 was the number.
Okay. So essentially, we're gonna stay put with that? I mean, there's no need.
No, I mean, you have the two major parties, I mean, they used to use it, as long as they clean up after themselves, there was never a cost involved unless there's something that has to be done, but, you know, all of the parties, all of the political parties, and now we have, you know, United Monroe as well as the Republican and Democrat, a small group of working families, if they need to use it, they've always used to put in for it at no cost, as long as they put the room back into the same condition as they found it, and make sure that they clean up after themselves. It was never an issue.
Yeah, I think the issue that came up last year was the electrical and HVAC costs
No,
that might be associated with it. And I don't think we wanted to put that on the taxpayers.
no.
No, never did. That's why I'm asking.
You guys want to require certificates of insurance from the groups? If they are in fact an entity?
Would it be prudent if we did?
I mean, typically, if there's an entity versus some kind of, community group that may not be a formal, corporation or something, but usually if it is an entity like a corporation, we would
Yeah,
want to
they're
see
not-
a
none of them
certificate.
incorporated. No,
Yeah,
they're just like,
I think they're more like clubs than actual incorporated
yeah, they don't
entities.
really have much dues either way, so.
Yeah, so I mean, if they're not an actual entity, they probably will not be able to get you that, but for those groups that are, they should be able to provide you with it.
Should we have a waiver signed then for those that don't have insurance?
Well, that could be part of the process of, allowing them to use the room
Right,
there
that
for
they
the
would hold in
document.
town harmless.
Yeah,
Okay.
Most of their meetings, if they keep them under 2 hours, you can probably make it 25 if you want. I don't know if the Republicans use this or not, but, or any of the other groups. What do you wanna do?
Yeah, listen, whatever the board sees fit, I'm open here. Do you wanna make a motion to
Make a
change
motion to
it?
make it, I'll make a motion to make it 25.
We need a second?
Nobody?
No, I'll second it.
Right.
I think that's,
I mean, it's only what?
some of the lesser parties may not be able to swing the 50.
They may not, yeah.
You know,
They're small and they don't really collect much, so.
Okay. Call the question?
No.
Aye.
I,
Okay, so moved.
Anyone shows up,
5.9, I'd like to hold off. Oh, no, he's here, I'm sorry. Judge Milligram, would you like to come up to discuss the request for Teresa Doyle to be changed from part-time to full-time position of clerk?
Good evening, I was hiding in the back.
Okay,
All right, good evening, Ron.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you all know, I hope, our court has been working on short staff with two full-time court clerks now for several years. This past, several months ago, we hired a part-time clerk, Teresa Doyle. Her credentials are known to the board. She's extremely well qualified. She's doing an excellent job. The workflow is still increasing in our court. Quite frankly, I've gone in on weekend nights, and one of my clerks may be there catching up on paperwork because they're so busy with people coming to the window who have to be addressed. So at this point, we believe the court needs to have another full-time clerk. We'd like to convert Ms. Doyle to a full-time position. Because she is a retiree from the county, she is the former deputy commissioner of jurors. There is a limit on her income that she can that's accessible, and I think I mentioned that to the board in the submission. So that would be my request and my recommendation. We need a third person in there full time. now especially with Judge Schwartz sitting, there's now 2 judges whose accounts and paperwork and books have to be kept track of. And the court has gotten, I can attest to you from my own knowledge, the court's gotten busier since the holidays, as I think I've been out pretty much every night for an arraignment for our court. And that's, even if it's not that's gonna stay in our court, the clerks have to handle paperwork.
Hey, Judge, can I ask you a quick question?
Ask me a long question.
All right. How is this, I know the county is supposed to be going to this 24-hour arraignment concept that the state kind
Maybe.
of thrust upon us. I think that's sometime this summer. I was talking to the DA, I think July 1st is supposed to be the kickoff. Is this gonna impact the workload of the clerks or not really, because that's gonna be done at a central location, or?
Well, they don't know yet who's going to staff the arraignment part.
I heard it's gonna be, the town
Me.
judges
Yeah, I know.
are
Yeah,
the
thank
next,
you.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just the county court
Yeah,
judges.
sorry to bother you, Judge, I called 12 other judges, I couldn't get anybody last night.
It'll be a
either.
rotation or something like that.
You gotta go to Port Jervis.
They're
Not Scotian.
They're talking about rotating the judges. I don't know how many judges or how many shifts. It's gonna be a 24-hour shift. I think even theoretically, the county or the state is supposed to pay us a stipend for being there. I don't know if that'll happen. Lord knows, you know, in any event. But we don't know who's gonna handle the paperwork on the clerical side. We may have to bring or rotate court clerks in from the various courts. And our clerks are still gonna have to handle the paperwork from any arraignment that gets done for our court. The papers will end up there and the paperwork for that will be done. But remember, it's not just criminal cases. They handle traffic matters and they also handle civil cases, as well as zoning matters or building matters for the town as well. So it's a variety of things, and at this stage, the workload is such that we believe it's necessary. We've done as long, and I believe it will reduce some of the overtime as well.
That was my question, so you answered it. Thank you.
Obviously, I don't know, I can't guarantee you that because we're working in a backlog, but I believe it will reduce some of the overtime.
Okay.
So are we basically looking to keep her at the same hourly, but have her make?
There's a salary I've recommended. I'll, if you want to, I don't think that should go here.
Yeah,
That would be my recommendation. I don't know what the hourly works out to be. I didn't do the math.
Judge, is there a number per hour per week in there, that in your documents? Would it be 35?
I believe it'd be 35.
Okay, and are you
This
looking to
person
get,
would not get overtime. It would not be working overtime.
would this be a new full-time position and leave the part-time position on the list? Or, in other words, for civil service?
This is replacing the part-time.
All right, so taking that position and changing it to a full-time.
Correct. Because, I think Rick will remember, when I started, we had 4 full-time clerks, and I believe we had another person who came in on a part-time basis as
Right.
well.
You've actually cut down staff to half what it was before previously, so you're only going back up to what it was.
Actually, we're less, we're still.
Yeah, still less, yeah.
yeah, I believe,
And quite frankly, we've talked about this over the years. We've tried to manage as best we can. I think this has gotten to the point, just for a combination of the well-being of my court staff and the functioning of the court, we would just have this in place.
Does she presently receive benefits from her retirement?
Yes, she will not require, my understanding is that she will not require any benefits from the town. I don't know from a civil service standpoint that there's some, something we have to do for her because of that. But my understanding is that she will not need benefits, nor will she be getting any overtime. It'll be just strictly whatever the salary amount is.
Do you know, can you answer that, Mr. Nugent?
Well, there's nothing you have to do with civil service. I mean, the salary is going to be the salary.
I mean, I guess the question, for example, if you have a town employee who waives the available town benefits, does that have to be some way, are they compensated in some fashion for that? I don't know the
I don't
answer.
believe you have.
No, we don't have any,
No.
Okay, that answers the question, so that's not an issue either, we're just talking about straight salary.
Okay,
Thank you very
all
much.
right, thank you very
Thanks,
much,
Judge.
Judge. Have a nice evening.
Wait, Judge Schwartz is on tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. What's that, Mike?
Since you can actually respond from home.
Yeah. Okay, next item, amendments to real property tax law 467, 459C. and 458B.
Right, Supervisor, on this, we have essentially 3 public hearings. They all concern updating your town code. You already have these exemptions in your town code, but they need to be updated consistent with the new numbers and dollar figures that are in your local law. So the resolutions for tonight is just to set the public hearings on the 3 amendments to the town code. And once we've done that, we'll then provide the board with copies of, each local law with the changes that are in there. Ms. McDonald had worked with us to prepare the local laws. So we're just setting public hearings. We left the date blank on the resolution, depending on when you want to set it, but we just need a date and time for each public hearing. And there's one on each section of the town code. If you don't have them in front of you, I can.
So we could do all 3 public hearings in one night, correct?
Yeah, I think they're gonna be relatively short. I don't anticipate there'll be much public comment on it, so you could set the 3 hearings for one evening.
So I'll make a motion to set the public hearing February 5th at 7:30.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Aye.
Just sorry, so we're gonna set 3 public hearings. I wanna identify them separately, so you'll have a public hearing, and if you wanna set them, 5 minutes apart, that's fine. So for the record, that last motion
So,
should be for section 467, amendment for senior citizen exemption.
So that one be at 7:30. Section 459C will be at 7:35. And 458B will be at 7:40. Need a second?
I'll second.
Call the question?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
That's the 5th.
so moved. Yes, February 5th.
Was that, Rick, you second
Yes.
I said.
Okay, next item is the deed of dedication from Mikvah Hendel Miriam on 509 Forest Road. So I'm a little lost with this, to be honest with you. So I know that he had asked our secretary for the planning board and zoning board to place this on the agenda.
Yeah, these 2 documents are, part of the approval process, and the documents have been reviewed by our office. So tonight would be an authorization for you to execute the documents, and then the applicant would need to file them with the county and return them to the town.
Okay.
So
All right.
Can you just give us the legal reasons, because I've never seen this before,
What, the dedication?
why you have to?
Well, one is an easement, and I think the documents are attached on this. And then the other one is concerning a roadway, so that the town has the ability to maintain the highway. I don't know, Mr. Sharon, if you're familiar with this. I think we had communicated at one point.
Yeah, that's Forest Ave, right over.
Yeah, Forest Ave,
Bridge.
sorry.
It's a small road, anything that has been done so far, he has had curb cut approval from me, with of course, a down payment. But, maintaining the road's not gonna be an issue, as long as I don't have to go in there and do anything inside of that, it's gonna be private.
What's the, oh, okay.
So the road widening gives the town highway superintendent the sufficient width to do whatever he needs to do, as he normally would with a town highway. So that's the easement part, which is the second document.
Okay, but does anybody have any plans that we can see on this? I mean, I'm looking at a piece of paper, I really don't know what I'm looking
I
at.
have no plans on that.
The planning board would have them, we can obtain the plans,
Yeah.
that this arises from, and you could see that and see where the locations are.
Okay, I think before approving this, I think we should see plans.
It's a site plan,
What's that?
part of the site plan approval.
Yeah, so we can have the planning department provide the site plan. I'm assuming they probably have that PDF to the board, so you can see where this is, and we can provide a little further explanation with it if you'd like.
Okay.
I have a question too. In the past, sometimes these roads have gone up to the county because the deeds are never recorded properly. How do we ensure that this is gonna be recorded properly?
Well, when they record it, have to bring proof of the recording back to us, to showing that they recorded with the county. Secondly, now we can go online when it's recorded and see with the county's online service, what exactly was recorded. But typically, they would have a copy of whatever was filed with the county, that comes back to the town, after they file it. It's their obligation to file it and return it to us.
And that's kept in the records department with Mary
Yes.
Ellen?
Yeah, but normally we would review what comes back to the town to make sure it was filed properly with the county. And then again, we can follow up by going online to make sure that, and actually see the documents that are in the county system.
This will also be helpful to you guys and to the town of Monroe. It's a short road, it's not a very wide road anyway. Anything they do, they should better that road and improve the road anyway. So once these plans come into effect and you guys decide to, go ahead with this, I think you should have something in there documenting that, you're gonna repave that surface of road and do it right, the whole way down. I think that would be beneficial to the town.
All right, so we can put this over until next meeting, and I'll confer with Mr. Sherney, and we'll go over these points and get the site plan for the town board members.
Okay. Which essentially, 5.12, the road easement dedication is part of this, so.
Yeah, 5.1 and 5.12.
Okay, we'll move on to 5.13, the Glenwood bond reduction request. Mary?
Yep, I've got some information. There's a Glenwood 1 and there's a Glenwood 2, which are basically schools for girls. And Glenwood 1, there just needs to be a little bit more inspection work done by the town engineer, who also happens to be the planning board engineer. And he sent a letter in dated January 11th, and he's saying that the Glenwood 1 bond, for the amount of the work that he needs to be inspecting still, he only requires approximately $5,000. The balance, they would like transferred over to Glenwood 2, because they also need to have a bond for work that needs to be done there on their site and inspected. So I stopped by the planning board secretary today, and I checked to make sure there was enough money there. And there's actually, they gained interest of 20 cents. So they have $24,005.20, and what they want to do is leave $5,000 in Glenwood 1 and take the balance and bring it over to Glenwood 2. And the engineer said that's acceptable.
So the engineer's on board with the 5,000?
Yes. Yeah, and as I said, I made copies, so if you want to take that.